Hi, I'm Dr. Matt Harris, and this is the EdTech vlog. Again, in the middle of COVID insanity, COVID crisis, Corona nutsiness, I don't know. Hey, I wanted to come to you again, just sharing some thoughts around EdTech during the time of COVID. And actually I have a tip for teachers today. So let me give you some context. So last night I was doing a webinar. I do webinars with a company called Explore Learning. And we were doing a blended learning webinar talking about various ways of using synchronous and asynchronous tools to kind of make learning more engaging for students in a blended environment. Now, as you probably know, a blended environment is typically a combination of face-to-face learning and online learning, right? There's some combination therein, whatever the percentages of time are and the ways you do it and all that kind of jazz. But right now, the face-to-face time is kind of hard, right? We can't do it in school. And whenever I give this webinar, I give an example around flipped learning, which is a great example of how to do blended instruction. So for those of you who don't know about flipped learning, we do a flip of the normal model. So the normal model of a traditional classroom is that teachers teach face-to-face, right, in the classroom, and then kids work at home. So there's a group of students learning from a teacher in the class, kind of typically a passive activity, and then at home they're working on their own. Well, what the teacher does in the flipped environment is that they record their videos of themselves giving the lectures that the kids do at home first, and then when they're in school, they do the homework activity or the interactive piece. And what that does is it allows them to work in school with the teacher and all of their peers and all their resources. So it becomes more of a collaborative learning experience. It can still be personalized, but all of the resources you don't typically have at home, you have through this flipped experience. And as we were talking about it, it hit me. Why don't we do flipped learning now? And again, a little more context. I have been working with teachers and my own kids as students for the last few weeks. And what I've noticed is that typically there is some sort of like meeting with the teacher where everybody talks about what's going to happen during the day. And then after that, the kids go on their own to do the work at their own pace. It's usually through, my kids are doing Google Classroom, but some sort of learning environment that allows them to work on their own. And what I was thinking is, why don't we flip that? Because I'm having a challenge seeing students go through this and not getting real-time feedback. They really are on their own, and parents are kind of overwhelmed, right, doing this. So why not create kind of a flipped experience? So this is my suggestion. Flip your online learning. This can be incredibly valuable if you have the time to do it, if you have the resources to do it, if if it works for you. So this is my thought. Record the key information at the beginning of the day prior to that morning meeting or whatever you're doing. Put that onto your virtual learning environment and say, okay, kids, we got to get through the math pieces. You're going to go off to have some PE stuff. There's an art lesson you have to complete, and then there's whatever, some generic item or maybe social studies or whatever. Give them the outline of the day of what needs to get done. Then do your morning meeting. But keep it short, 5-10 minutes, quick check-in, very simple. You don't need to spend a lot of time. Then what you can do is instead of the students working on their own, you have them do it with you. So you almost have like a virtual office hours, like you're sitting in the front of the room. Bring on a VC that allows a video conferencing system like Zoom or Meet or Teams or something like that, where you're available during periods of the day. Right now we're going to do a math session. So everybody gets your math done. And for the students where that timing works, they can do that math assignment on their own devices at the same time that you're available to them. And so if Johnny's having some problem with multiplication, Johnny can say, hey, teacher, would you help me with this? I don't understand. The teacher can then do some sort of presentation or something real that all of the students can engage in if they want, and it helps the child work with things in real time. So you don't lose that face-to-face connection, it's just done virtually. You still maintain the ability for students to work on their own because maybe they don't want to do math at 9:30 in the morning. But you can say, this is my time to help you with math. I'm going to have another time later on to help with literacy or something like that for a primary school teacher. Or, for biology, this is my year 9 class. This is my year 11 class, something like that. And I will be here for 20 minutes to go through your work with you on the fly in a group setting. So you can flip the online learning where the students aren't doing this all by themselves, and the parents then don't have to be content experts and don't have to guide them through it. It can be incredibly powerful if you try it. What I would suggest is just do it for one day, one class. So maybe next Monday, next Wednesday, say, okay, I'm going to make an open session just for math to talk about anybody that was working on their multiplication work. I'll be here open from 9:30 to 10 o'clock or something like that. Put that on your schedule and see who shows up. Offer them to do their work in real time. They don't have to come with questions. They can do it on their own and just ignore you. But you're there. You're that presence. So again, gives you an opportunity to flip and use the technology in a better way where they're getting that feedback in real time. You're having a real engagement with them, and everybody wins. So anyway, that's my tip for today. Give it a try, and I'm calling it Flip Your Online Learning. All right, well, it is the weekend here in Singapore. We're going to take a rest. I'm going to spend less time in this room if I can. And I just want to say, I'm going to start ending these with a similar kind of tip. Every one of you, or not a tip really, but more of just a statement. I'm still looking around the world. I'm talking to people in multiple countries. As I said last night, we were on a webinar that had people from, I think, 15 different countries. You're all doing great. You're doing a great job. And I say that seeing what you're doing and seeing the impact you're having on your students. So again, everybody, you're doing great. Keep it up. Have a great weekend and stay safe.